The crisis of 1873 spreads to all the industrialized countries of the world. There seems to be no end to hard times.
Those capitalists sit there with their warehouses full of goods they can't sell while we starve.
They shut down factories because they don't make enough profits.
As if they hadn't made enough. And now we're out of work.
I won't take it one more day.
No, I'll be damned. It's no way to live.
They treat us worse than animals. Well, what the hell can we do?
We'll revolt.
Don't go on like that, friends. Calm down. Surely it's possible to make society better little by little.
Little by little? We don't want less exploitation of the working class. We want to smash it now.
Meanwhile, at the home of McProfit,
Damn bad news. Yes, McProfit speaking.
Unfortunately, I have to inform you that our biggest iron mine is almost run dry, and it's impossible to get our hands on another one. Our competitor has bought up all the others.
The hell's that?
We've had enough. Come down here, you devil, and let us cut your throat.
Quickly, get me the police.
We'll be back. Your police can shoot workers, but they can't stop the whole working class.
the workers organize. They form socialist unions and parties. They say that everything in society should be owned by everyone. In a socialist society, people won't exploit each other and everyone's needs will be met. Each person will share what is produced by everyone else. But before this can happen, all capitalists must go. But to struggle for such a society, workers in one country need the support of workers in all other countries. So in 1864, Karl Marx helps found the first International Working Men's Association. It's realized that socialism wouldn't last long if it just came to one country. The neighboring capitalist states wouldn't allow that. Workers everywhere believe that the end of capitalism is near, so they prepare for the struggle. But all over the world, the leading capitalists and financiers meet in conference. In Paris, Brussels, Rome, New York, in St. Petersburg, Tokyo, Berlin, and London. Capitalism must be saved at any price.
Formerly, we English were alone, but now foreign companies are hindering our progress. It's too much of a squeeze. Where will it all end?
Yesterday, I was in the East End of London at a meeting of the unemployed. I listened to the wild speeches that were one scream for bread, bread, and more bread.
If we don't get the factories working, the workers will take them from us.
In order to save the 40 million inhabitants of England from a bloody civil war, we must obtain new territories to which the unemployed may emigrate, where we may be able to sell our unsold products.
Unsold products and threatening workers, yes, yes. But who thinks of the raw materials? The factories must start up again. There are not enough raw materials.
Gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the American journalist and world explorer, Henry Morton Stanley.
Good evening, gents. I have just returned from a long journey, costing hundreds of people their lives, but which led to great results. On my journey, I have found an entire continent which is only waiting for the white man to take the initiative. In Africa, you will find the solution to all your problems. There are millions of people walking about, stark naked. They are practically waiting to buy clothes from your cotton industries. In Africa, you can invest in roads, railways, mines, And the climate is ideal for all kinds of plantation farming: rubber, tea, coffee, cocoa, sugar. And most important of all, the workers are already there.
Africa lies open to us. It is merely a question of getting there first.
And European ships set sail to plunder the riches of Africa. Centuries of exploitation, slave trading, and forced labor have made the European capitalists powerful and wealthy. So great that they can arm their own military forces. The people of Africa put up a strong fight, but after 400 years of slavery, they are divided and weakened. After years of struggle, the African people are conquered by the well-armed soldiers from Europe. But the spark of resistance lives on. Companies from different countries compete fiercely with each other for bigger pieces of the pie. Time after time, competition between them breaks into open warfare. Business between the companies must be kept under control, so their governments step in. Back in Europe, diplomats get together and divide up Africa. With pen and ruler, they draw lines on the map that divide Africa into colonies. A lot of blood has been spilt, and a lot of money has changed hands since the first capitalist was born in Europe. Remember when he arrived on his cart with the pepper and glass he brought from Venice? He had new ideas, and after a while, his class had taken power away from the old-fashioned landowners. He ruled the society by means of his factories. He became an industrialist. To keep power, the capitalists needed money to keep their factories growing. So the banks became really important, but also dangerous for the small and medium-sized capitalists. Many Willie Rusts died like flies. The finance capitalists would only lend money to the biggest and most powerful. They become the mightiest capitalists in history because they run both the banks and the companies. Now we are nearing our own century. We are nearing our own time. But in order to understand why our own time is as it is, we must take a look at the finance capitalists. While the big companies are dividing up Africa, the finance capitalists back home in Europe are getting worried.
We've had a rough time with crisis after crisis these last 20 years. And many companies have survived, but they are bigger than ever. Stronger, too. Why do we have these crises anyway? Too many goods are produced. Prices fall drastically. And why is more produced than can be sold? Competition, obviously. The crises must be due to competition. Look at the means mess that's got us into. If we don't do something, these eternal crises will finish us. You must stop competing and be friends. That is the only hope.
And how can I, who am so powerful, cooperate with others of the same kind? It won't do.
How can I abandon my predatory instincts? My whole being cries out, I want to compete.
It's life or death for the capitalist.
Do as I say, unite. Otherwise, you'll get no more money from me.
The big companies begin to cooperate, but deep inside, they'd rather gobble each other up. In all the capitalist countries, finance capitalists gain strength. To avoid new crisis, the big companies are forced to unite and cooperate. Like they say, if you can't beat them, join them. And that's what happens.
We have formed a cartel. Between us, we produce all the steel in the country. We have stopped competing with each other. We have agreed to produce only as much steel as we can sell. The finance capitalists are with us.
We are a trust. We have stopped competing. We have agreed to become a company. We produce all the electrical appliances in the country. Everybody is forced to buy from us. We decide the price. And the finance capitalists are with us.
I am a monopoly. I don't compete. I have finished off all my competitors. It is I who decide how much oil is to be pumped up and what the price is. The finance capitalist and I have become one. That's true friendship.
The new tactics of the finance capitalists are a success. The factories start up again. The unemployed return to work, and some of them even get higher wages. It sounds too good to be true. How is it possible? Well, the explanation is here. In Africa, the capitalists find a market for the goods they couldn't sell at home. But most people in Africa are peasants. They make everything themselves, or swap for the things they need. So the Europeans force them to use money. And for the first time, the people are taxed.
You there! You've got to pay taxes!
But we haven't got any money.
Then you must work for the company so you can make some.
But we work on the land. We don't need money.
This is my land here. I bought it.
But you can't buy land. It belongs to everyone.
As long as you're on my land, you've got to pay taxes.
But we haven't got anything to pay with.
Then work for the company, or get out.
In this way, the capitalists get land for mines and plantations so they can get the raw materials cheaply for their factories. And to pay the taxes, the people are forced to work on the plantations. They hardly have any time left to work on their own land and to grow food for themselves. The companies invest a lot of money in roads, railroads, factories, harbors, and gigantic mansions. But these things don't fall from the sky. Workers are needed, many workers. Even though the people can hardly keep themselves alive, they're still forced to work.
You, and you, and you have to work for the company.
We got to stay and harvest here.
Well, are you working or not?
In this way, the European capitalists get both cheap labor and cheap raw materials, and at the same time they can sell their own goods.
There was a drought last year, and the harvest failed. We had no food. We had to eat grass and roots. Many old people died from hunger, and many had to leave their homes and hide in the mountains. The company sent dogs and soldiers after those who fled. They were caught, and the soldiers locked them up in a cave where they died of hunger.
Our town couldn't produce as much rubber as the company wanted, so they locked up 50 women and 10 children in a house. They were kept there till we finished our work. They got no food, not even water. We heard their screams while we worked. It was 3 weeks before we'd made as much rubber as the company wanted. By then, most had died.
We lost our land. We lost our cattle. We are slaves of the white man. We are nothing. We have no rights.
If the natives are disobedient or revolt, they must be ruthlessly exterminated. I myself have personally killed 150 natives with my own hands, crucified scores of women and children, and chopped off 60 hands and hanged up the mutilated bodies on the town walls. During my service, 1,500 natives were killed in a single plantation.
The African people are forced to believe they belong to an inferior race. White scientists say that black people have smaller brains than whites, that they are naturally evil, and that they can't look after themselves. The exploiters have an excuse for their crimes and can sleep with a clear conscience.
What they want from us is to make the rich capitalists even richer.
This is how capitalism always works. It robs people of their human dignity. Only by exploiting people and making them dependent can the factories of capitalist Europe continue to function. But let's take a look at a colony. Plantations. Mines. Raw materials are shipped to the coast. Here, a capital is built. The European government has sent a governor. He and other white civil servants are to see that everybody pays taxes and obeys the laws. The unemployed and homeless crowd into the slums. Some can get jobs as waiters, dockers, and street cleaners. The most obedient can become policemen or office workers. From here, valuable raw materials are shipped to the industries of Europe. In the same way as the cartels, the trusts, and the monopolies have conquered Africa, they have conquered the whole world.
Imperialism is like the very air that we breathe. Without it, we die.
ndakumbuye sinzo ese sinzo ry'Ibuhiga ese sinzo ry'Ibuhiga wabyaye